You've likely heard by now of the latest so-called WikiLeaks document dump. It happened last week. Published in the latest release is a trove of classified documents related to the CIA's cyber weapons capabilities. With reaction to this, I'm joined by John Mcafee, computer programmer and cybersecurity pioneer. He was a candidate for the Libertarian Party's 2016 presidential nomination, and John joins us from New York. All right, what do you make of this, John, this whole WikiLeaks CIA arsenal of cyber weapons release?
Well, you know, in my mind, Larry, this is the most horrifying of all of the leaks that WikiLeaks has come out with. It shows that the CIA has used American industry for its own purposes at the risk of our industry and the safety and security of our people. It has kept from industry all of the zero-day exploits that hackers use, which are faults in software that allow hackers to get into a system. It kept them from the people who manufacture the software, like Microsoft, Google, Apple, and other industries, and put us all at risk, and put the industry at risk for its reputation and even its very survival. I think this is unconscionable. It's like keeping a shipload of penicillin away from the population when the population is ill, simply because you're afraid the penicillin may fall into the hands of the enemy. And this is very twisted thinking in my mind, and very dangerous thinking.
What do we mean by zero-day?
A zero-day defect, Larry, is a fault within software that someone discovers that will allow hackers to get into that piece of software, whether it's a database program or an operating system. And when manufacturers find out about these faults, then they can fix them. But the CIA knew about hundreds of these faults for many of our industries and never alerted the industry. In fact, the CIA actually caused some of them for its own purposes so that it could spy on both American citizens and foreign agencies.
The CIA is not supposed to spy on things American.
That is correct, and yet it is doing so, sir, which is another very disturbing thing. You know, to me, it is the most horrifying, because not only is it breaking its constitutional directive, but it is literally harming the American public and our American industry and enterprise by its actions. And are they not supposed to be the stewards of American citizens? I mean, that's not their mandate to protect us, but certainly as part of our government, security, safety for American citizens.
So who gets the blame for this?
You know, I'm afraid I would have to blame the past two directors of the CIA under Obama. And I think it's a shameful approach to doing business. And it saddens me. It really does. My whole heart is virtually broken over this. That, you know, I'm a patriot. I love America. I was raised here. My entire life has been all about America and our culture, and to find our government behaving in such a way is, to me, literally horrific, Larry.
How would they defend what they did?
Well, they will defend what they did because their directive is also to find out information about our enemies. And their statement will say, well, the only way we could do this was to use our American industry, because almost the entire world uses Microsoft or Google or Apple, to use our industry to plant things that we could listen to the enemy for. But not seeing, by doing so, it's like giving us all a case of the flu or injecting us with a deadly poison. Huh. It's simply not conscionable.
We'll be right back with John Mcafee right after this quick break. Welcome back to Politicking. I'm talking with cybersecurity pioneer, computer programmer extraordinaire, John Mcafee. You seem to believe the United States is basically clueless when it comes to cyber defense. What about cyber offense?
Well, we're excellent at cyber offense. I mean, that was one of the things that came out of this trove of information, is that the CIA has some awesome cyber weaponry. The problem with cyber weaponry, Larry, is unlike nuclear weapons, which you can lock in a concrete bunker and keep tally of, and which it requires billions of dollars to duplicate. Cyber weapons can be copied for free. Once the CIA weapons trove is in the public domain, 15-year-old kids can get access to it. Anybody can copy it for nothing. So this is the paradigm shift that I think the CIA and much of our government has missed. We're no longer in an age where we have to keep nuclear weapons out of the hands of people, because it's, I assume, fairly easy to account for these things. But we're trying to keep cyber weapons from even being released, because once they're used, Larry, then a copy is left for the entire world to get. And that paradigm makes an extraordinarily dangerous world, considering we have the dark web, where most of these weapons will eventually end up, and 15-year-old kids can buy one for $100. So what happens when some 15-year-old kid gets grounded for bad grades and he says, well, I'm just going to destroy the world then? I mean, that scenario is not beyond the realm of possibility. This is what frightens me. And this is what our government simply does not understand.
Who poses the biggest threat to U.S. cybersecurity? Is it other countries or non-state people?
I think it's shared equally between non-state people and other countries. I mean, for example, ransomware, which is generally not a state-sponsored activity, has become a massive problem for our industry here in America, costing us tens of billions of dollars. And at the same time, Russia and China have weaponized software equal to or greater than our own. I mean, I just came back from Bucharest in Romania, where I was speaking at a conference. While I was there, somebody, a state actor, hacked my phone. Extraordinary sophistication. I almost did not see it, except they made one tiny flaw. They used a device called a Stingray to plant the software, and by doing so, it shut down my instant message capability for a moment. When I left the hotel and got a few blocks away, it came back. I got closer to the hotel, it disappeared again. So without that one error, I would not even have noticed it. And I had to actually buy a new telephone, Larry, to get rid of it. It was that sophisticated. Huh. You couldn't do a factory reset. I took it into AT&T. They couldn't do anything with it, so I just bought a new phone.
All right. What do you say to the millions of Internet and smart device users, maybe billions? What do you tell them about their security and privacy risks?
Well, basically, if you have a Samsung television, that television is listening to you. And in their user manual, they say, if you want to have a private conversation, don't do it in front of the TV. Now, that's the madness of the condition that we're in now. The CCTV cameras. We have smart refrigerators. There was an attack on the Internet done by CCTV cameras just a few months ago, which brought down half of the Internet here in America. And it was a very unsophisticated piece of software that did that. The Internet of Things is being built by people who are great at building refrigerators or safes or thermostats or cameras, but know nothing about software and even less about computer security. So we are opening Pandora's box, and this is going to come back and bite us hard.
John, next time we talk, I'd like to do a whole show with you. Thank you so much.